When you ask ChatGPT a question like, "How do birds fly?" it might feel like it's thinking just like a person, but that's not what's actually happening. Behind the scenes, your question begins an incredible chain of mathematical computations. Let's see what really happens. The first thing ChatGPT does is break your sentence into tokens. A token isn't always a whole word. Sometimes it's part of a word, or even punctuation. Instead of reading language like humans do, the AI reads sequences of tokens. Next, every token becomes a list of numbers called an embedding. These numbers don't store the word itself. Instead, they represent its meaning. Words with similar meanings end up close together inside a huge mathematical space. This is how the AI begins to understand relationships between words. Now the embeddings enter the transformer's neural network. This is the core engine behind ChatGPT. Instead of reading one word at a time, it processes the entire sequence in parallel through many layers. Each layer gradually extracts deeper patterns from the text. One of the transformer's biggest breakthroughs is something called self-attention. Every token looks at every other token to figure out which ones matter most. For example, the word fly pays more attention to birds than unrelated words. This helps the model understand context instead of isolated words. But there's one problem. Attention alone doesn't know the order of words, so the model adds position encoding. This gives every token information about where it appears in the sentence. That way, birds fly and fly birds aren't treated as the same thing. As the data moves through dozens of layers, the network discovers increasingly complex patterns. Early layers might recognize grammar. Deeper layers capture concepts, relationships, and reasoning. Each layer builds on the one before it. How did ChatGPT learn all of this? Before anyone ever chatted with it, it was trained on an enormous collection of text. Books, articles, websites, code, and many other publicly available sources and licensed data. During training, it learned statistical patterns in language, not facts memorized word for word. After pre-training, the model goes through another stage called fine-tuning. Human trainers evaluate responses, helping the AI become more helpful, safer, and better at following instructions. This is why ChatGPT is designed for conversation instead of simply predicting random text. Now comes the key idea. ChatGPT doesn't plan an entire paragraph at once. It predicts just one token. For every possible next token, the model calculates a probability. The most likely choices rise to the top, and one is selected. Not every response has to be identical. A setting called temperature controls randomness. Lower temperature makes answers more consistent and focused. Higher temperature allows more variety, creativity, and surprising responses. It's like adjusting how adventurous the AI should be. Now the model has several possible next tokens. Instead of always choosing the single most likely one, it uses sampling methods like top K and top P to choose from the best candidates. Top K limits the choice to only the highest ranked options. Top P keeps enough likely options to make the response sound natural. This helps ChatGPT avoid repeating the same answer every time, while still staying relevant to your prompt. Once a token is chosen, the process repeats to generate the next one. Once a token is chosen, it's converted back into readable text. Then, that new token is added to the conversation. The entire process repeats again, predicting one token after another, until the complete response is finished. After hundreds of these prediction cycles, you receive what looks like a carefully written answer, but under the hood, it's really millions, sometimes billions, of mathematical operations working together, one token at a time, in just a fraction of a second. So, does ChatGPT actually think? Not in the human sense. It doesn't have beliefs, consciousness, or understanding like we do. Instead, it transforms your prompt into numbers, processes those numbers through a massive neural network, predicts the next token, and repeats the process until a complete answer appears. One simple question. Millions of tokens processed, billions of parameters at work. One response. That's the incredible technology behind ChatGPT. The next time ChatGPT answers your question in just a few seconds, remember that behind every response is an incredible chain of mathematical computations. working together to predict one token at a time. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the BitFlow, where we turn complex technology into simple visual explainers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.